All right, so in this session, it's going to be interactive. So in case you have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask. And you can stop me wherever you like. And by all means, I'll be happy to kind of answer any questions and stuff. But in this session is going to be primarily around BitEdge and how to effectively use BitEdge. I think one thing that I've come to discover after using BitEdge for the past, 3, 4 weeks is that BitEdge can make you a lot of profits. The only downside to BitEdge is how long it can take for them profits to occur. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you can probably agree with me that it's a great concept, but it's the time aspect which is now a factor. And this is the main difference that I've seen personally between normal CFD trading Forex and stuff, and using AI to trade crypto for me using spot trading and arbitrage. The main factor in Forex, CFDs, and trading futures is the fact that you're able to make more money from better analysis. But what I found is that with BitEdge, you can actually make faster money with analysis. And that's what I'm going to kind of share with you because there's various different ways that you can use BitEdge to your advantage, depending on obviously how you want to use it, depending on you as a person, and depending on obviously your level of patience. If your patience isn't as high as mine, then you're probably not gonna, or I say if your patience isn't as low as mine, then you're probably gonna be happy just to sit around and just wait for the money to come in. But if you're someone that would like the product to be faster for you, then this is exactly what I'm going to be going into in this session. So there's a few things that I wanted to highlight, and that is that between now and the 18th, if you was to refer anybody to BitEdge now, the activation fee has gone up to 299, so inclusive of the monthly subscription, it comes to around 420-ish, something around that number. And it's going to be progressively increased until 399 for activation, aside from the monthly support fee. Okay. I just wanted to throw that out there in case you're thinking of referring anybody to BitEdge, then of course. But depending on obviously when you're watching this video, it may not even be a thing for you anyway. So couple updates for you. First things first is over the course of, well, actually, there's going to be another BitEdge exchange that's going to be added, well, not a BitEdge exchange, but an exchange that's going to be added to BitEdge, which is called Bitmart, which is going live on Monday. So this Monday, which is going to be the 12th, I believe, is going to be going live. So this means that you're going to be able to use Bitmart as an additional exchange for those for those people in the UK that don't have Binance, I haven't been able to sign up with Binance, then this is great news because you're able to now use this as an additional exchange for BitEdge to be able to spot more opportunities for you. Now, Bitmart is great because it only requires tier 1 verification, meaning you don't need the country ID for excuse me, for you to be able to withdraw. The limit is up to 30K a day or half a Bitcoin, roughly, with tier 1 verification. Now, tier 2 verification obviously is unlimited, which is when you basically submit your ID, proof of address, that kind of stuff. Coinbase is going to be launched within the next 2 weeks, which is one of the biggest exchanges on planet Earth. So just, stay posted for that one. And there's some other enhancements that's coming into place this Monday as well, which I want to speak about later on in the call, if I remember. So just remind me. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to jump into my BitEdge account. Okay. And I want to show you the transactions. Or in fact, let me show you any transactions that come up. Okay. Now, the thing about BitEdge is that you've obviously got the manual options and you've also got the automated options. So you've got Sniper, you've got auto trade, and obviously you can execute trades manually. Now, the thing that you need to understand about cryptocurrency is that, especially with spot trading is different to futures and CFDs. Spot trading means that you do actually physically need someone that's going to be a buyer of whatever that you're selling in terms of your cryptocurrency. So if you want to sell Bitcoin for a certain price, you need a buyer that's willing to buy at that price that you want to sell at. Whereas with CFD trading, futures, the broker provides the liquidity for that transaction to be able to take place, whether or not there's a buyer. So the buyer acts as the liquidity. Whereas in cryptocurrency, or spot trading, should I say, it's not just in crypto, but in spot trading, you can spot trade on stocks as well, just to let you know. But you actually need to have the liquidity there, as in the buyer for whatever you're willing to sell, and vice versa. If you want to buy, you need someone else that's willing to sell at that same price to make the exchange happen. And this is the thing that you need to be conscious of when using BitEdge. The two different options, you of course have Sniper, you also have Auto Trade. Now, Sniper, if you're not familiar with Sniper, it allows every opportunity to be taken that it sees, as long as you have the available balance. Auto Trade allows you to take one trade at a time with the balance that you set and the profit margin that you set as well. Meaning it can do more than that profit margin, but it can't do any less. Now, this is something that you need to be cautious of. The crypto market over the course of the last 1 week took like a 20% drop. Over 200 billion, almost 300 billion, I think around 287 billion was wiped off of the crypto market cap. Why? Because Bitcoin took a drop. Now, with that, obviously the rest of the cryptocurrencies follow in suit. Now, with this, you of course are going to be waiting longer for your trades to finish, essentially. And what I mean by that is that if you, let's take a look at Bitcoin as an example, but if you was to, let's just say, let me make this bigger, right? So last week, it's the only thing about Zoom, there's lots of stuff in my way. But last week, last Friday, Bitcoin was around 65,000. Okay, Thursday, Friday, and all around this period of time, Bitcoin was around 65,000, between 63 and 69 highest. Now, within this period of time, it's a perfect time to be using Sniper. Why do I say that? Because price is consolidating, which means it's going to move up and down, up and down, up and down within that same price range, which means that Sniper, it uses limit orders. And the limit orders will get filled a lot faster because price is moving up and down, up and down. So let's just say it executes a trade. Let's just say here, as an example, it sets a limit order. What's going to happen is, let's just say if price goes above it, then it's not going to execute. For how many days? This is the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, executed. Okay, now let's just say, there's another limit order, which is, I don't know, within the same parameters, let's just say here. That means it would have executed here and executed here, which within the space of 1 week, the trade's complete. And again, as another example, if we execute the first order here and the last order here as well, then again, you're waiting, it executes, then you're waiting 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Trade done. So I hope this is making sense. When price is consolidating in the same gap, Sniper will make you a lot of money a lot faster. But if price is trending, right? Your limit orders are going to be left behind. So what do I mean by that? As of last week, let's just say Thursday, if you had any trades on Sniper, then guess what? What happened was Bitcoin dropped. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, 9 days. It's now been a week and a half. Okay. And your trade still hasn't closed. Why? Because price has been trending. So with this, you can't expect your trades to be closing faster because price is trending. However, what you can do instead is look at taking manual options and turn off Sniper. So this is my recommendation number one. When price is trending, turn off Sniper. Okay. Instead, you can possibly look at using auto trade and using a bigger amount for auto trade. So let's just say, as an example, if your account balance is 1,000, if you're using Sniper on, let's just say, $100, instead of using Sniper when price is trending in the crypto market, use auto trade for about 500. Why? Because then that auto trade is, and remember, you can set it as a big percentage as well. So let's just say, as an example, you do one which is 500 and you set it as a minimum percentage of 8%. Then what you're essentially doing is, because 8% of 500 is 4% of 1,000. Hope this makes sense, right? Which means that when this trade closes, you've now increased your account size by 4%. And are you okay with making 4% of your account in a week or 2 weeks? If you are, then great, this is perfect. But not only that, now you have 500 available capital that you can use to take manual trades with BitEdge. And the manual trades is what I wanted to highlight and speak on specifically so that you can make money a lot faster, right? Any questions so far, or are you guys all with me? If you're with me, drop a 111 in the chat. If you're not, ask a question. That's completely fine. Perfect. So as I mentioned, when price is trending, use auto trade. When price is consolidating, use Sniper. Sniper will make you a lot of money a lot faster when it's consolidating. Auto trade when price is trending, and manual when price is trending as well. Now, the only thing which is going to speed up, like this isn't like normal trading. You don't need to be a wizard. Okay, you don't need to be a master of the markets to be able to make money fast with BitEdge, right? But now I'm going to speak about manual trading. Okay, manual trading with BitEdge. And the reason why is because this is going to allow you to make your percentages a lot faster. Now, the key thing to understand here is that when manual trading, there's going to be prime times in the day where you're going to be able to see better percentages that come up here. And that's when there's more volatility. When there's more volatility in the markets, there's going to be bigger price discrepancies, which is what BitEdge trades. It doesn't trade movement, it trades discrepancies. The discrepancies are going to be wider when the price is fluctuating a lot, when there's a lot of volatility. So there's going to be better times in the day, better times in the week when there's more volatility, where you're going to be able to spot better percentages with the manual trading option. Now, of course, you don't need to do this if you don't want to, but I'm just highlighting a way in which you can make money faster, right? Now, firstly, identify the time of day. Okay, of course, it doesn't take too long just to log in and see what's going on. Of course, you can do that. But typically, there's going to be better times of the day. As an example, during the day, okay, during the week, there's going to be bigger percentages. As an example, today is the weekend. Although the crypto market's open 7 days a week, 365, the weekends typically is slower. So as you can see today, right now, you can see there's a 2% here. Now, 2% isn't bad. 2% is good, to be fair. There's a 1.6% here as well, and a 0.5%. Now, again, if you're manual trading and you apply this form of analysis that I'm going to show you, you probably could afford to take 2% trades, especially if you're using half of your account balance. Why? Because it's going to close faster, number one. And number two, if you're taking a 2% with half of your account balance, you're basically making 1% for your whole account, which is, of course, $10. So as an example, if I was to do a trade of 500, you can see here, I'd make $10 for this trade. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to look into, and bear in mind, this is better for bridge. If you're manual trading, use bridge, because bridge is the fastest. It only has 2 transactions. Okay. It starts in the currency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDT, and it will always finish in USDT. Okay, so just bear that in mind. If it started in Bitcoin, it's going to finish in USDT. So if you're wondering, right, why you have no more Bitcoin in your account and your Bitcoin trades aren't executing, it's probably because you've been using bridge and it's converted your Bitcoin to USDT. So now it's in USDT again. If you want to use Bitcoin, of course, just convert your USDT back into Bitcoin on your exchange, on your Binance or whatever exchange you're using, right? Now, let me show you the form of analysis that you're going to be looking at. First thing that you're going to be looking at is the price. So as you can see here, this is the price of Bitcoin. Okay, and we're going to be getting DGB. The price is like all of these zeros, 1100. Okay, Bitcoin per DGB. So that's the limit order that is going to be setting, right? And you can see the amount of DGB is going to be buying 74,564. So what does that mean? Based off of what I've said earlier, it means that you're going to have somebody selling this amount of DGB for the order to execute. And it needs to be at this price for it to execute. Now, if you see that it's available, of course, do the trade, because this means the first part of the transaction is going to be done straight away. So how can you find that out? If you go onto Binance, because obviously the exchange that is going to be using is Binance. And you go onto oh, and you go on to trade, spot exchange. What I'm looking for now is Bitcoin DGB. Let's see if I can, oh, instead of me looking, let me go over here. Or DGB Bitcoin. Mhm. I know what I'm looking for. I just can't remember how I type it in, right? So just bear with me a sec. So if you click on DGB,
I sent it in the chat.
okay, perfect. So yeah, you brought it up right there. So DGB Bitcoin, it shows you the price of it right now. Okay, as you can see, the price that we was looking for on BitEdge is 0.00011, right? And what is the price right now? 0.0000011, right? Now, what I'm going to be looking for here is people that are selling for 0.0000011. Okay, as you can see right now, there's only people selling for 1.2, not 1.1. There's people buying. As you can see, there's somebody else buying for 1.1 and they're buying 10 million. I think we're only looking for 79,000. So if I go back onto my BitEdge just to double check, you can see here we're looking for 74,570 at 1.1. Okay, right now there is no 1.1. Okay, there's people buying and we only want 74,000, which means that price is relatively close, which means if you execute this order, it's very likely that it's going to be executed quite soon because there's people selling for 1.2, people buying for 1.1, which means it's very, very close, which means that once these positions are filled, like this person, if his position is taken long to fill, he's probably going to be willing to sell for 1.1 because he just doesn't want to wait. Why would you want to wait forever? So instead of waiting forever for it to be filled at 1.2, he's going to go and sell for 1.1 because he knows that there's people selling already for 1.1. So all you're essentially doing is you're basically going to add to this order, essentially. So your 79,000 or 74,000 is going to add to this order. And then it will get filled. Okay. So now you're being able to be smart and check before you go in for that manual trade. Is it going to be executed or how soon is it going to be executed? Right. So this is what we call an order book. Right. So you can see the buyers and you can see the sellers. The first buyers that's going to be filled, the DGB, is at 11.0000011. If you execute this manual trade, it's at 1.1, which is perfect because we're going to be the first people to be filled. Right. And of course, you can get partially filled and you can get totally filled. Partially filled means your whole order hasn't been executed yet. And if you get partially filled, meaning you've only sold half of, you've only bought half of the amount that BitEdge has set, then it's going to keep the order as pending until you're completely filled. Right. So it's a battle between these two, really. Who's willing to drop? Who's willing to go up? That's all that there is. Okay. So that's how the order book works. And that's the only thing that you need to look at. Okay. So you can look at the order book for the first transaction, and then you can look at the order book for the second transaction. And the second transaction here is DGB USDT. Okay. So now I'm going to go on to DGB USDT. And again, you don't need to be logged in or anything like that, right? For you to look at the order book. So what is the price that it's looking at? What's the limit order going to be? 0.0683. So let's see. As you can see right now, the price is 683. So this could be a good trade to take because you know the price is 683. If we look at the order book, right, we've got buyers. Look at that. This would be executed straight away because we've got no other buyers at 683, meaning your order is going to be put on the top. And is there someone executing at 683? Yes, there is, right here. Okay, this person wants to buy at 681. There's no one that wants to buy at 683. So that means you would be the first person to buy at 683. So the only thing that you need to consider, this is obviously the second transaction. If the first transaction happens quickly, then this one is going to be done straight away. Okay. So of course, how much is the amount? That's the next thing that you need to look at, the price and obviously the amount. The amount that they're selling is 215. Okay, or 31,604. If I go back to my bit edge, how many do we need? Okay, cool, perfect. We need 9,837. Which is perfect. Okay, you'll get filled. But like I mentioned, this is going to be a great trade to take because it will happen very fast. Based off of the second iteration, which is the one we're looking at. Of course, the one that we'll be waiting for, maybe for a little bit, is the first iteration. Okay, which is this first one. Because you guys saw from earlier, there's what's going on. There's not anyone that's selling yet for 00011. Okay, it's just going to be a matter of time, but it's only 1 point away, which is hardly anything. Okay, so this should get executed very quickly. Now, again, the next thing that you can look at if you want to do your analysis to find out how long the trade should be taking is obviously the charts. Okay, if you know how the charts work, then of course you can go into the charts and you can look at, as an example, Bitcoin DGB or DGB Bitcoin. Okay, I always get it wrong. As you can see right now, this is perfect because price has been consolidating 00011 to 00010, and the high is 0012. So it's in this area, which means any trades that are against DGB Bitcoin, if you catch them where the limit order is at 1-1, perfect, because it should definitely get hit because it's right in the middle of the consolidation of the volatility of the movement, right? So I hope that makes sense. The only other thing that you need to consider is, of course, the movement of Bitcoin. If the trade's going back into Bitcoin or yeah, no, that's the main thing that you need to consider is that chart that I showed you before. Okay. And that's consolidating. So that's really how that works. Now, the other thing that you need to consider that I just wanted to touch on is that when you're in your transactions, okay, and if you have your smart limit mechanism switched on, you go into settings, auto trading. If you've got your smart limit orders on, then you'll find that there's a possibility that your trade will appear as blocked or something like that in your transactions, in your recent transactions. Okay, or failed. As you can see here, blocked, failed. Why? Because my smart limit order was on when I took this trade. And essentially what happened was, within that period of time, which was 8 hours that I gave it, and the one transaction, it couldn't find anything. So instead of keeping me in that trade, it was still pending. So they just closed the trade. That's why it appeared as failed or blocked. The next thing to also understand is that it will more than likely, if you take losses, it's probably because There are obviously going to be small losses, but it's probably going to be because of your smart limit orders. Now, in reality, if you understand what I've just shared with you, you don't really need to be using your smart limit orders because smart limit orders is there for if you're being impatient, for if you want it to try another trade within the space of that certain time frame. But if you use what I've just shown you, which is to use sniper when price is consolidating, to use auto trade when price is trending, and manual when price is trending, if you team that up with a bit of analysis, the analysis isn't difficult. It's just looking at the order book to see, oh, should my trade be filled quickly or not? Yes or no? If yes, perfect. As you can see here, remember this trade? It was looking for a price of 0.067,683. There's no one right now that wants to buy for 683, but there's people that's waiting in line to sell for 683, which means that will get executed ASAP. So this is how to effectively use Bitedge faster. Okay, if you're impatient, then of course, this should be something right up your street. Now, if you are patient like me, then you're going to be happy. Just hold your coin. And the one thing to understand is about spot trading is that you will always have your coin. If it has bought the coin, you will always have that coin. So if price drops like it did this last week, and you're like, oh, I'm losing money, you're not losing money. You still have the exact same amount of Bitcoin that you've bought. It's like if I have a gold bar, okay, a bar of gold, let's pretend this is a bar of gold, right? And I bought this gold bar for $1,000, let's just say. If the value of this gold drops, guess what? I've still got this gold bar. It's still here. If you don't try and sell the gold bar when the prices drops, then you're good. But if you just wait and just hold on to your gold bar, it's going to go back up. And it's the same thing with cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. So as an example, you guys can see, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to come back up to 66,115. Why? Because I've got a trade in Bitedge still pending, which is this one here, where I've used 700 in capital. If I go on to the trade, you can see it's done this trade, it's done this trade, it's just waiting for this one, which is to convert Bitcoin back into USDT. And the price is this 66,119. So that's what I'm waiting for Bitedge to come back to. Now, am I fast? No, because I know Bitcoin's going to go up naturally over time anyways. Bull run hasn't even started. Okay. Now, I done some analysis, some technical analysis, which is what I've learned from trading, but you don't even need to use technical analysis. I just use it because I'm interested in it. So as you can see here, fair value gap. Okay, this is called an inversion fair value gap, which price tapped into, which means price should be off to the races very soon. Okay, and if you trade with me, then you understand that I predicted that Bitcoin should be at new all-time highs within the next 2 weeks, which means I'll be happy because my order would have been done, would have been filled. Now, not only that, the other thing that I was going to say is that you can actually make more money on Bitedge than what it shows you can make. And the reason I say that is let's just say as an example, your first trade gets done and your second trade is now open. But let's just say when your second trade opens, your second trade is there, your second iteration, which means you have to wait for Bitcoin to come down to hit here, and then the trade's closed. But guess what? That means that your trade will close at the amount that Bitedge had told you that you're going to make. But if price is up here, close the trade manually yourself. Because that means you're going to bank even more money before you wait for it to come back down. Does that make sense? So instead of waiting for price to come down, right, just bank it up here. Just close it manually. And you're going to make even more than what it said on your Bitedge. And how do you close it manually? Very simple. What you can do is you go into your Bitedge and let's just say you can click on cancel. Okay, so let's just say as an example, if this order's pending, I can see here it's on the final section, which is converting it to USDT from Bitcoin. Then what I'm going to do is, let's imagine if price was below. Let's imagine that the price was, 55,000. 55,000 is here. Okay. Why am I going to wait for price to come down? I don't need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Bitedge, find the trade that I'm waiting for, press cancel, and then go into my Binance, find my Bitcoin. Okay. Oh, where am I? Where am I? Find my Bitcoin. And I'm going to go on to, obviously, it'll be on this part here. And I will sell all of my Bitcoin. Okay. You will actually be able to pull this up to max, which is here. And it will sell all of it. And now I've just banked. Okay. So on this trade, I'm going to be making $54. So I use 700 for it. But in this hypothetical example that I've just shown you, if price was above my limit order on the final leg, I could be up by $100, $150, $200. So if I just close it manually, go and bank it, I've now made even more money. Happy days. So this is how you effectively use Bitedge for both speed and for more money, for more profits as well. And by the end of the month, you're going to be laughing, right? You're going to be thinking, I got to pay my subscription fee. No problems, right? Take that out of the little bit of cash that I've got left in there, because I've got all of this profits that I made. 119, 120, whatever, it's going to be nothing, right? So this is how to effectively use Bitedge for both speed and for more profits.